You ever pictured yourself living in Victoria, BC? The reality is a lot of people are surprised with what their life actually looks like when they get here. I'm Sean P, and welcome to the channel. We post videos every week about what life looks like in BC and, of course, our real estate market and how to navigate it. So if you always want to know the best way to approach living in Victoria and the best strategies to use in our real estate market, make sure that you like and subscribe so you don't miss anything that we have coming up. As well, I'm a real estate agent, and so if you have questions about your plans involving real estate and you'd like to connect, there's a link in the description you can use to grab some time with me. I'd love to hear about your plans and see how I could be part of them. Now, people become enamored with the idea of moving to Victoria, BC. It's beautiful, coastal, temperate, and it's got a bit of a slower lifestyle that appeals to a lot of people who are frankly getting burned out with the rat race. The truth, though, is that there are a number of things that surprise people when they first move here. And in this video, we're going to walk through the 7 most common things that catch people off guard when they relocate to Victoria, BC. First up, the weather. Now, Victoria, BC is known as having Canada's most temperate climate. It's often considered Canada's best weather, but we're still in Canada. Our summers are pure magic. We have 3 to 4 months of clear blue skies, warm air, a cool breeze off the ocean, amazing patios, and just everyone is out from dawn till dusk. It's amazing here. But the rest of the year still exists. And the problem is that a lot of the time people fall in love with Victoria during the summer. They come out here, it's our height of our tourism season, and people will come out and they forget that we still have Canadian winters. Now, a Canadian winter in Victoria doesn't look like what it does in a lot of Canada. So if you're trying to escape the snow, good news, you are going to be very happy because we don't spend a lot of time below zero here. With that said, the reality still is that we have a lot of overcast days, we have shorter daylight hours during the winter, and just generally, it drags on a little bit like it does everywhere else in Canada. The advantage is we don't have a lot of snow to shovel, and throughout the course of the winter, it's never really that cold. Up next, entertainment and nightlife. In Victoria, nature is our entertainment industry. Seriously though, most people who move here do it because they're attracted to a lifestyle where they can spend more time outdoors, interacting with nature and all the amazing stuff that we have here. They also move here because they just generally feel like it'll improve their quality of life. And that's reflected in our entertainment scene. Don't get me wrong, we still have sports teams and concerts and events and festivals. We have all those things. But if you're coming from Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, or somewhere along the southwestern United States, chances are you're going to find that you are reallocating your time and resources away from those things and buying kayaks and paddle boards or hiking equipment. It's just what people do here. Now, the next thing that people tend to grapple with after moving here is the fact that Victoria, BC is located on Vancouver Island, which is an island. And usually when they first move out, they say something along the lines of, "Oh my God, I love the ferry ride. It was one of the highlights of my trip." And I completely get it. It's gorgeous and I still love the ferry, but we're on an island. And so we're just that little bit extra disconnected from everything. Now that's part of what gives us this kind of pace of life that we have here. We are to some extent on island time, but it still just adds a little bit of complexity to everything if you need to travel. So we've got the ferry. That is a longer trip. It's an hour and a half on the ferry. You have to arrive in time if you have a car, you have to disembark. Consider it about 2.5 to 3 hours all told before you're back on the mainland, and you have to reserve at peak hours or you're not getting on. There's Harbor Air, which you can blast over to Vancouver, but you're spending a little bit more. And then, of course, if you're a traveling type, well, factor an extra connection into just about every vacation that you take because most about everything is going to be leaving from Vancouver. Now, we also have just a little bit extra to get through logistically. For example, there isn't an IKEA on the island, so you have to ship things out. It costs a little bit more. It takes a little bit more time. Now, this isn't such a huge deal. And again, it kind of factors into the pace of life that people move here for, but it's just something that people kind of go, huh, after they've lived here for a little while. and it takes a little bit of extra planning. My hot take on it, I like it because it keeps me somewhat slowed down, and I also really enjoy doing day trips or overnighters to the mainland to go shopping, to enjoy the entertainment they have there, or otherwise just explore. Number 4 is the fact that despite our small city vibes and chill, laid back attitude in Victoria, we still have a lot of money here and big city price tags on a lot of things, including our real estate market. I often joke that BC stands for bring cash, and the reality is that a lot of the time people are surprised moving out here from other cities because they expected that they'd get a discount. Now, the other thing that kind of capitulates this is the fact that Toronto and Vancouver and Calgary have had a really rocky ride over the past few years as real estate prices have dropped after interest changes and just with post-COVID recovery. In Victoria, we have seen a similar effect on our real estate market. Things did slow down. We have seen prices go down, but they've only gone down about 5%, and they're already on their way back up, where in a lot of other parts of Canada, things are still getting worse and they haven't quite bottomed. So this can just be a surprise if you're moving from a less competitive market. We're balanced out here. It's not wildly competitive at the time of shooting this video, but generally speaking, it's definitely not a buyer's market, and if anything in 2026, it will continue to become more active. Now, playing in tandem with our somewhat recession-proof market out here is the fact that construction hasn't slowed down. Many large urban markets throughout Canada are at a standstill. If you look at Toronto's condo market, it's absolutely devastated and no one's building new inventory. But out here, we see a very active construction industry. Just about everywhere you look, smaller developers are getting into the game, building small townhouse developments, 0 to 20 units. We also have a lot of low-rise apartments being built. Now, these are not for sale. They're almost all going to be added to our rental inventory, which should help with affordability for rentals in the next 5 to 10 years. We even have some larger projects. There's the Harris Green development, which is downtown. That's slated to be over 1,000 units in the coming years. And on the West Shore, we are building ownership housing. There's about 5,000 units that are projected over the next 10 plus years. So we have a lot of construction going on. Everywhere you look, there are tradespeople. The industry is booming. There are a ton of jobs in it, and it's going to help balance things in our housing market in the decades to come. Second from last is the network that makes up our city. This city operates like a tight little community. I often say it's a big little city, and that's really the reality of it. It's a small town that's grown up to be a very large area, but the reality is that 6 degrees of separation truly exists here, and your reputation carries really quickly with you. You will bump into people that you know all over town, and it's just kind of part of life here. Personally, coming from a much larger urban city, I love this because in Toronto, I always felt like I could get lost in the city. You just had a very small chance of ever bumping into the same person twice, whereas here you really actually feel like you're part of a community, but it does take a little bit of getting used to. And I think that's a good thing because it forces all of us to be kinder and more present with the people who are around us, regardless if they're part of our day-to-day life or not. Last but not least, in fact, probably the best, is just how truly integrated our communities are with nature. I can't overstate this. You are always 5 minutes from an amazing natural place to go explore. Doesn't matter if you're in the downtown core in a suburb or if you feel like you're on the outskirts, all of us have equal and incredible access to beautiful outdoors. My home is located less than a 10-minute walk from 3 different oceanfront beaches, and that's not a flex. That's just normal for a lot of people who live near Victoria. I think the perfect example of this, though, is deer. We have no natural predators for deer on Vancouver Island, and they thrive in our suburbs. In my area, I always have to slow down turning onto my street because I don't know if one of them is going to jump out in front of me. But it's not just my area up in Saanich where it is a little bit more suburban. It's even communities that are right adjacent to the downtown core. We have deer everywhere here. So there you go. 7 things that surprise most people when they first move out to Victoria, BC. Which one would you be the most excited about having in your day-to-day life? I'd love to know, drop it in the comments. Here's the deal. When you add these 7 things up individually, none of them are that crazy. But ultimately, when you put all of it together, it tends to change the way that people live their lives. It's not something that's really forced on you. It's just the natural progression of living in an area that has a slower pace of life, is more connected to nature, and where people tend to take time out for themselves more regularly than in a lot of other parts of the country. If you are thinking about making your life in Victoria, BC, as always, I'd love to be part of your plan, and you can use the link in the description to get in touch with me. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else that we have coming up, and I'll see you on our next video.